In the last week of August, the Indy entourage travelled north to British Columbia to race for only the fourth time ever around Pacific Place in Vancouver. Constant reminders of the country's history, set amongst spectacular scenery. The giant pines dominating the surrounding countryside, breathtaking glimpses of the gorgeous surroundings from the Capilano Suspension Bridge, a must for the thousands of visitors who trek to Vancouver for the race. Undoubtedly, the best way to travel in these parts. Nigel had a brief opportunity to indulge his fascination for aircraft and flying when he took off from False Creek for a short visit to nearby Victoria Island. A moment's peace before getting down to the hectic, noisy business of driving racing cars at breakneck speed. Ready for the first practice on this tricky 1.7-mile street circuit, two long straights with tight hairpins at either end and a series of flat-out curves. Being a street circuit, it has a collection of nasty bumps. Lying third fastest in practice, Nigel had a rare disconcerting moment. Lack of grip was a factor from the start. In Saturday qualifying, Red 5 made the acquaintance of Willie T-Rib's Lola, and as a result, the spare T-car was brought out, and relations between Nigel and Willie remained cordial. Nigel qualified third.
Well, that was an eventful morning. I had a big coming together with Willie T-Ribs, and it wasn't Willie's fault because he was going slow on the outside, and he didn't see me coming down on the inside and just turned in. And I hit the back end of his car. It wasn't his fault, it's just one of those things, and but the nice thing was it forced me back into the backup car, and the backup car is better than the race car, so, you know, I'm just really happy and very pleased that we've had a good morning this morning.
Andrea Montemini, once lead driver in the Mansell Vancouver F3000 team, qualified well, seventh in only his third IndyCar race. Fine progress for the young Italian. Paul Tracy was alongside Nigel on row 2. Robbie Gordon was to start from 6th on row 3. Emerson, 10th fastest, but he still manages his familiar grin. And he's anxious to tell the one about the racing driver who couldn't start. And it was Scott Goodyear who claimed pole, only the second of his career and the first Canadian to do so for a race in Canada. And the best qualifying performance for the team so far. Bobby Rahal, second quickest.
It's really tough, as I say, A, getting a clear lap, and B, it's, you know, it's got a lot of fast corners, so you have to get the car set for those, but then it's got a lot of slow corners, too, so it's...
I got him.
People are going to talk about us if you keep that up. But I knew he was breathing down my neck, so I had to, you know, get going.
So, what about tomorrow? What 105 laps?
It's a hard race. It's a fun race, but traffic is so key and passing is so difficult. I mean, last year was a demolition derby. You know, I saw Emerson and Al Jr. go over the top of each other, and I thought, well, that takes care of them, and they started right up and kept going again. So it's going to be hard. I'm just glad that we're up in the front because I've started here 6th, 7th, 8th before, and it's bad. I'd like to resurrect or end this year on a high note, I guess, after all the troubles early on. And you know, it's just this enthuses you. You know, it excites everybody when you're running well, and just you know, next year we won't make the same mistakes we made this year, that's for sure, and start out strong and hopefully don't give up.
Any advice for the gentleman to your left who's never raced in Vancouver?
Yeah. Slow down, be very careful when you pass, signal when you pass.
And don't forget,
he's going to do fine, believe me.
Next year he's going to have the Honda engine with another 40 horsepower.
That'd be nice.
He'll be smiling all next year. But no, I think it's fabulous that Bobby's on the front row with Scott Goodyear. I think for the championship, it's very good for me, and you know, I wouldn't mind at all sort of just following them all the way home tomorrow. Just get those valuable points to keep in front of the Penske's. But have a great one tomorrow.
Thanks, mate. All right. Cheers.
Well, good morning and welcome to Vancouver. We've a fantastic venue for the 13th round of the Ppg Indycar World Series, and it's been an eventful weekend already. We had a little incident the other day with Willie T. Ribs, forcing me into the backup car, the spare car, which was a bit nerve-wracking in point of fact, because the time I had on the first day, we had to disqualify ourselves because that's the regulations here. And we went up into the backup car yesterday, but fortunately it was a little bit better than my race car. So, I mean, sometimes these things work out for the better. Today, expectations really, from looking at the video of last year, we just really want to stay out of trouble. There's a bit of bumper cars last year, there's lots of small incidents, and really all I want to do is finish and collect those valuable points towards the championship.
Goodyear, Rahal, Tracy, the top three. And another good start from Gordon promoted him to fourth as Nigel stuck to his pre-race plan to stay out of trouble and race for points. The first full course yellow occurred very early in the race, the track blocked by a three-car incident involving Gruyère, Johnny Unser and Jeff Wood.
6 o'clock, Nigel, 6 o'clock. Gordon's out. He must have blown the engine or something. Emerson's in 11th position. Okay, that's good.
From the restart, Goodyear resumed in the lead. Tracy had slipped past Rahal into second place as they lapped the circuit in under a minute. Tracy simply barged through into the lead. Hot on his tail, Rahal followed him through for second place.
Rahal now moves on Tracy. Bobby Rahal makes a move and picks off Tracy going into the first corner.
Nigel Mansell, intent on making the finish, stayed out of trouble, running fifth, well in the points and poised to capitalize should any of the leaders fail. Then disaster for Tracy. Having lost the lead, he slowed to a crawl with mechanical problems. Nigel in the pits for the first time, but the car stalled. He lost 5 places, down to 10th. Fittipaldi was meanwhile dicing with Bosell for 5th. Fittipaldi lucky to still be going. He'd all but collided with Al Unser Jr. on his way into the pits. New leader Al Unser Jr. made his second stop 2 laps later than anyone else. Good tactics. He was in and out without losing first place. Rahal, enjoying his best race for weeks, stormed after Unser, leaving the rest of the field 10 seconds and more adrift. But this was Unser's race, driving to victory for the second time at Vancouver. He'd never been out of the top 3 here. Nigel Mansell, ahead of Fittipaldi, was content with 6th place. Another 8 points in the bag, and the championship lead increased by 2. Goodyear was 4th, his best finish of the season, behind Stefan Johansson 3rd, a repeat of last year's performance for the Swede. Al Unser's 19th career victory. It's been a long time coming. His last victory was at Indianapolis itself in 1992. This was just as sweet. Bobby Rahal 2nd, a welcome return to form and consistency for the defending champion. In pit road, quiet satisfaction for Newman Haas.
How many points over Emmo do I get today? Just 2 points. 2 points.
And afterwards, reflections on a job well done.
Tough one, huh?
That's right, went the right, gained 2 points.
What was the result?
Plus 33. Plus 30. Junior won, Ray Hall was second, Scott Goodyear was third. Okay, and then Johansson, and then Mario and yourself.
In victory lane, little Al welcomed back by his wife Shelley and later by the team's celebrity backer.
For whatever reasons, the team has been struggling this year, and you know, of course, we were hoping, but I think deep down we were kind of really surprised. I shouldn't say that.
That was one of the
Peter Murphy coming.
toughest races I've had. I mean, I'm just happy I kept the car at the wars.